Hello there, peeps. This is What a Kid of the Aspie Gamer once again, and it's time for a quick look. The game in question today is the PC-98 version of Corpse Party, aka the original Corpse Party. So that screen right there was for loading save files or starting a new game. I'm just gonna go ahead and start a new game and play through the intro so that I can show off the characters' different portraits, as well as a few other things. The entire game is in Japanese because I believe, and the people at Memories of Fear can, Agile Gamer can tell me otherwise if this is wrong, but I believe they tried to translate the PC-98 version before they decided to just recreate the game from scratch in RPG Maker for Corpse Party Rebuilt. So, as we can see here, the characters are a lot more yellow than they were in Rebuilt. Or, than they would be in Rebuilt, given this came first. We can't really talk too much about the detail until the... Oh, there's Sachiko. Until the lights get turned on. And that thunder sound is very different. You'll notice that the movement of the characters seems more jagged than it was in Rebuilt, and I don't think that's because I'm recording. I believe that's just the way the PC-98 does it. This is a very old console. Also of note, oh, I completely skipped over this. Naomi's portrait is, obviously, very visibly different than how it was in Rebuilt. I kinda like her Rebuilt portrait more. I'll comment on the others once we get another view of them. Satoshi is just kinda... It's different, for sure. Can't really comment anything else about it, much though. And Yoshiki, some people say his face looks weird. I personally think it makes him look more like the cool guy he's supposed to be. Oh, would you look at that? Naomi does have an alternate portrait. And the only instance in this game where you see a character smiling. And Yumi looks a lot more fragile than she did in Rebuilt. But nowhere near as annoying as she did in... Well, that's a bad way of putting that, but whatever. Blood covered. And the power outage. So the overall script translation might be different from, That's a knocking sound, really? Huh. That sounds like just... Well, that's Yuka. Anyway, the overall translation of the script might be a bit different than it was in Rebuilt, but the overall idea is the same. It's the same plot, basically. And that sparkle sound is the sound replaces the boom from Corpse Party Rebuilt. I don't know how else to... Hey, Yuka. I don't know how else to describe that. Oh, I guess I was wrong. That was just the only instance in which we saw Yoshiki smiling. I completely forgot Yuka had a portrait of her smiling. She has a lot bigger eyes than in the original... Well, in Rebuilt. Yeah, there's actually not that much variance among the character portraits in this game. So, whenever characters emote, it's very rare and far between. That sounds the same. Also of note, whenever text is loading or there's a text box on screen, until you advance the text, the characters stop moving for while the text is in play. I believe that's common among PC-98 games. I know it happens in the Toho series as well. That's a different instrument than in Rebuilt. Or at least it's the PC-98 version of an organ. Also of note, all the characters who end up... It seems like all of the characters who end up in Satoshi's party have white in their eyes, while Yoshiki's group doesn't. At least in these sprites. Wonder why that is. It kinda reminds me of the Peanuts gang, for some reason. Another thing of note is that you don't even have to... You can just walk into something to interact with it. You don't even have to press a button. And that music track is the same. Overall, I think Kisaragi Academy actually looks the same as it does in Rebuilt. Maybe in Rebuilt it has a few minor graphical touch-ups, but there's nothing really major to talk about in difference of appearance. Heavenly Host, I believe, is more different. Once it brightens up a bit. Yeah, it's a completely different shade of browning. And red. It's darker and looks more bloody compared to in Rebuilt. Well, yeah. Overall, the game is the same as Corpse Party Rebuilt. It's just a different graphic style and other changes. And now Yuka is looking like how we remember her. Only with very big eyes. September 1987, I think. Was that the date? Or was it September 19th, something, 1857? I forget the date. I only said 1987 because I believe that I have Five Nights at Freddy's in my mind. But I might have been wrong. And that screen transition, though. That's how the screen always transitions from here on out. We don't need to learn about the characters. Compared to the fading out and fading in, and just flat out fading that the original game had, or not, this is the original game, that Rebuilt had, this does a full-on screen transition. Also, you can advance text with just the arrow keys as well. Well, at least until you get to these question boxes. Another thing of note, that I can say right now, is that Ending C actually got a change in Rebuild compared to the original game. Basically, the end after the... Was it after the credits? Yeah, after the credits in the original game was the same as for, I believe, Ending D, where only Yuka was dead. Where only Yuka died. However, in Ending C, the part with Naomi was added to Rebuild. Then, of course, there's a skeleton scene, but we don't need to see that. Nothing really changes. There's nothing really worth showing off, especially since you can't even read Japanese. The pentagrams look more like drawn... excuse me. The pentagrams look more like actual drawn or carved, even. They're carved into the ground, rather than just glowing pentagrams that are floating off the ground. Kinda like that appearance. The jaggedness makes some things faster in this game, and some things slower, I've seen. Another thing of note is that there's no run button. That was added specifically to Corpse Party 0 and Corpse Party Rebuild. Oh hey, there was a fade to black transition, but then it just switched to a scrolling transition. We don't need to go in there. Actually, I'm curious about it now. Huh, so the music doesn't change in here. And I don't think there's anything really worth showing off. Blah, 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 blah. Also, getting into my menu here, there's a whole bunch of options. I don't know what these do. Like, there's a bunch of stat options, so it's obvious this was built off of an RPG. Off of an RPG engine like Corpse Party Rebuild for the PC-98. I don't believe there's a way to switch out which character you have in front. And there's even an item list, even though... Yeah. And we have gold, even though that means nothing in this game. Anyway, to save your game, you want to go to the bottom option and click a data thing. I'm not sure what this does, but it seems to have the same effect. Oh, right, that loads the game. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get back here, yeah. So there is a way to load. I didn't realize that there was a way to load game saves within the game. This one just exits the game, though. And I don't know how to get back into it, so, yeah, back in a bit. Yeah, so with that, let's quickly check out the science lab to see if anything's changed there. Sachiko looks still pretty different. A bit chubbier. Or maybe that's just the dress. It might just be the dress. The anatomical model looks freaky as always. Now let's find a pentagram. Seems like there was a bit of V-sync there or something. Yeah. I don't know if that's the emulator or the game's fault. And blue spirits are very blue. I don't think I'll be able to get very far enough to encounter any red spirits to show off. Actually, I'll be able to, but we'll deal with that later. The green vial... You know? Is that actually a face on it? I can't tell. But yeah. So it's kind of cool to see how this game changed, and I just saw something in OBS. It's kind of cool to see how this game changed between Corpse Party Rebuild and the original. But before I close things off, there is one thing I would like to show off. So here we are before the Chico battle, as I want to show off the differences in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3 characters. Originally I wanted to try and fight the level 2 form, but I can't seem to exit unless I have 3 characters. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with Old Reliable for now. We can try it another time. Anyway, we know the strategy. So our commands here are fight, magic, what's this one? Items, run, which just, I think it resets the battle, but it doesn't reset your stats, so just stay away from that one. And auto battle, which I don't know what it does, so I wouldn't bother with it. And the middle column, the middle box has the name Vengeful Spirit in it, because that's who we're fighting. Speaking of which, her sprite is a lot smaller than the one in Rebuild. And on the right side, it shows our characters' names and stats. Satoshi Mochida, Yoshiki Kishinuma, and Yuka Mochida. And Satoshi has no magic. Right. So I'm just gonna attack with Satoshi, debuff Sachiko's physical attack so that she can do no damage with that, and stay away from this option. Attack with the iron lever with Yuka. She took 41 damage, and HP 30. What does that mean? Oh, she recovered 30 hit points? Is that it? Yep, that's what happened. Oh, joy. So, I'll go and explain how I know what all these mean. Zeke the Geek, the translator for Memories of Fear, was kind enough to give me a small translation cheat sheet so I would know what I was doing in this battle. Overall, the people at Memories of Fear have been very helpful with making this possible for me to show off. They supplied me with the ROM, they supplied me with a cheat sheet, and supplied me with a strategy for dealing with level 2 Sachiko, even though I can't really show that off now. Oh well. Now to buff Satoshi. And so, I'd like to extend my thanks to them for making this possible. That wasn't the item I was looking for, was it? Let's see. Nope. That's not the iron lever. That's the iron lever. I don't know what I clicked then. Oh well. Buff Yoshiki more, and healing on I said buff Satoshi, I mean. Heal him up. She took 87 damage. MP, that one is... I actually don't know. I actually don't know what that one is. Oh well. So attack again. Buff Satoshi. And... that was... the Vengeful Spirits. She can buff her defense. This might be a bit more involved than before. Satoshi took 9 damage. Everyone took 9 damage. That must have been Evil Filament. And I don't need to heal just yet, so I'll go ahead and use the Iron Lever. As long as she doesn't use that one attack, I'll be fine. Okay, he's poisoned. I'll go ahead and take care of that. And I don't need to use an item that I have. Magic. He's cured. She took damage. Right, he has no magic. So right now we're fighting the Sachiko with the stats of the level 3 form. I believe. And I'll go ahead and use Comforting Aura. more, and iron lever. And rinse and repeat until she's done. How is he even losing magic? Wait, does she steal magic? I'm not sure, but Satoshi's magic points are going down even though he has no magic, so I don't know. Huh. Well, that's strange. And now I'll have to attack with Yoshiki. Okay, I don't need to heal just yet. Ah, and she's down. It's in some of the older sound effects. It's interesting. How do I English? It's interesting to hear how some of the sound effects change because of the different hardware. The chunky meat sprite seems to be the exact same. Texture seems to be the exact same as it was when we built, though. Now that I look at it. And then, of course, the escape sequence. We know how this goes. That was a bell? Weirdest sounding bell I've ever heard. So yeah, that was a quick look at Corpse Party for the PC-98, the original game. It's kind of interesting to see the differences between it and its remake. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I thought it was interesting enough to show a quick look up. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And what I think I'll be doing next is either a blind run of Kirby Planet Robobot that I have all but one part recorded. It depends on the status of my 3DS. Or a quick little playthrough of the Toho game Lotus Land story. The one that I've actually been able to beat as of current. The only one, I should say. And with that, bye ya!